Evening. Tonight is the 12th of February, and we have the Capital Subcommittee meeting that was posted to go over Parks Department capital items. So we'll start with the last minutes. Any comments, or can we approve the last meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second?
I'll make it unanimous. Okay, we'll get started on parks.
All right, so we did have a couple commissioners that were coming. They might pop in. Joe was coming in, also Scott.
Well, they can join us when they come.
So I guess we'll start with May. That's fine for the town park. So when we came before October's meeting, we discussed the additional money that would be needed to complete town park. And that was including the bathroom building and the bandstand. So what was asked of the committee, if I remember correctly, was other options as far as funding, but also like other options is, to a prefab, reconstruction like we had planned, or anything else. So I did work with the architect to come up with a couple of options. So we have the original option that had gone out to bid, which was the original renovation of the bathroom and the bandstand, added the roof and the bottom. So the papers I gave you there. Now I'm only giving you, this is the full report. I'm only giving you like the summary. So the summary pages there sort of show you the work that is consisted in the contract that would go out for the bid. And then it just gives you the table of contents that would list everything that's included in it. And then the pictures, and I tried to keep it as simple as possible. It gives you a picture of the buildings, it gives you a picture of the bandstand, and it goes through, basically it's a renovation of the existing building, is what the commissioners have decided to stick with an expansion on the back, with the expansion on the back side of the existing building. That would need to go out to rebid. The prefab option came out at an estimated cost of $750,000. But that doesn't include the expansion or the bandstand. That's just that building. And the downside that the commissioners felt wasn't a good idea to go with that, but we did get all the pricing and the drawings and whatnot, was because the architect wrote up a memorandum basically saying it would be over a 12-month order period for a prefab. So if we were to go with the prefab of, it would be roughly 12 months for installation. So for instance, if in May we were to order it, we wouldn't see it completed or delivered until spring of 2026. The CDBG money that is part of this whole building and bandstand and the courts and everything, that runs out in June of 26. So we don't have much play there as far as time frame. So that's why the commissioners have decided to go with the renovation as originally planned, which if we were to start in May, say we bid in April, we rebid it in April, we get prices that come back, we're happy with the prices that came back, now we can move forward. We can do it prior to appropriation, we just have to note that in the bid process. So job pending appropriation of funds. So it's not like we can't do that to get an idea on the price prior to.
What is the goal? I mean, $750,000 sounds like a lot of money for a bathhouse or a bathroom.
So it's a renovation of the bathroom. So the last time the bathrooms were done is, I would guess, anything was done to them major is probably in the 80s. when they did the original basketball court that was there.
Yep.
I think it was like mid-'80s, late '80s. And it's just had its, I mean, you can go in and, you know, change the toilets and change the walls. We've cleaned things, we've replaced things. It's, you know, mold everywhere. There's a lot of things going on inside that building. To the point where we shut it down at one point and we just got porta-johns because it was, you know, it really wasn't
Now,
sanitary.
in the fall, you talked about the house holding 3 bathrooms,
Yes, so it'd be the men's, the women's, and a family bathroom.
and we need that?
Not necessarily.
Well, I'm just asking because
Right, it's just an added feature that they had put in. Cost savings, I don't think it's going to be much because if it's not a family bathroom, it would be added storage. You know, so the space is there. It's not like the bathrooms are going to get bigger if that's not there. It's using the existing framework of the building. And then, oh, thanks, Jim.
Hey, how are you? Sorry I'm late.
So we're just.
Don't get up.
Just going over what we had discussed at the meetings. So as far as the, if we were to move forward with the renovation as opposed to the prefab, if we were to go and get that started, we fit it in April, as I said. We get cost, we decide to go with it, we get the appropriation in May.
why is it so expensive? I'm missing something. For a bathroom,
Yeah, it's-
$750,000?
Now everything's gone.
It's prevailing wage, you know, it's the main part of it. So if we are able to build it ourselves, it would be 2/3 less. Prevailing wage is a law by the state when you're doing any type of procurement. And it's 2/3 higher for any worker that you have going there.
$250,000. We build entire houses in Milford.
Can I ask
What is driving the cost, huh?
Can I ask one just clarifying question? I'm looking at the document provided, because it's related to the scope of work.
Yes.
The work consists of demolition of building elements and renovating the support building, da-da-da-da-da. Work also includes expansion of the park bandstand roof and repair to the concrete bleacher system at the ball field. I'm getting confused about what exactly we're talking about for $750,000. Is that the bathroom plus the bandstand roof and the bleachers at the baseball field?
At the bandstand and the bathrooms the bleachers is not there. That was an additive. So this information's from the original bid.
Got it, okay.
So we haven't put it out for a bid again because
So this is the
with
original
anything-
bid. The rebid would just be for the
Yes,
bathroom
I'm
we're
sorry.
talking about.
So it does show it on the picture that's there. It says August of 2024, midway through the packet.
Cool, thanks.
Sorry about that. I should have said that right at the beginning. So this is the drawings and stuff that would be included for the renovation of the building, but it is, you know, there'll be rewording of it, which again comes with a cost, but that would all be
Always
interpreted.
said that we needed this for ADA. And my impression is we need 1 bathroom for ADA, not 3. Is that not accurate?
One bathroom meaning a men's room or a women's room?
Like a single.
A unisex room.
I'm not familiar with that. I've never seen that anywhere I've gone, but maybe
Well,
that's
I
the
just want to
case.
know what we're spending money on, because 3 bathrooms seems like it's going to cost more than 1 bathroom.
Right. There might even be like we dealt with up to high school, there might be something that, because of the amount of fields that are there or the amount of people that use it, I could check into that.
Please.
I didn't even think of that, you know. but-
Because we're going to have to go in front of town meeting and say, for $2 million, we promised you this. Now it's looking like you're asking for 3.
Well, you won't have to. The commissioners will have to present that to the town meeting.
And we got to fund it, so we're going to be right up there with
But
it.
that's your committee to decide if that's what you want to do. If you decide not to, the commissioners have already decided to move forward, you know, with this presentation to you guys tonight, so.
Well, if the commissioners have decided to move forward, do the commissioners have a source of funding outside our budget?
Well, we're going to, no, not outside the budget. But that's for Zach to discuss with you. Unfortunately, he's not able to come tonight because he was going to attend, but I think he's going to attend your next meeting at 7. So any of the
The money was
financial,
put aside from the last.
yeah. I'll let Zach discuss the funding.
I thought we spent all 2 million.
When we passed over at the town meeting in October.
There was money that was put aside, that was already put aside, but we passed over.
I'll have to look into
And that
that.
money.
That's the side you have to speak to Zach about.
Exactly.
Because I thought we had,
Either way, I think the questions persist. I mean, we can get that from Zach, but the questions, it's still town money, right?
yes.
So like, we'll sort that out, but trying to understand what the actual project is. So there was conversation around lighting controls maybe being part of the bathroom?
Yeah, so originally, that got taken out. We had a change order added to the initial project, the project that's going on now.
So the lighting controls are handled in the first part of the project then? That's not going to be like, oh, wait, we didn't do that?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So what they did for it is they're putting an outside pedestal outside the building, and that's where everything will be connected. So that's something that was asked. I mean, I think we explained that that's what we were doing.
explained that
We did
last
go
time.
through that.
That's already part of the first part of the project.
Correct. So otherwise, we would have had this part of the project done with no electricity and none of the courts be able to be lit up. So that was the decision that was made by the commission to make that change.
So it's really just stripped down to being just the bathroom in this, like that's what's the 750. Like there's no other controls, there's none of the
It's just-
concrete.
Yeah, so the plumbing.
Features or any of that, yeah.
Yeah, the plumbing, but the plumbing exists, but it's more the toilets and sinks and, everything that comes with it.
So let me just ask like a really basic question. When are these open and available to the public? Are they open every single day? Is it only for,
So usually for the high school events,
Yep.
so the coaches have access to that. I have a key box underneath that the coaches have accessibility to. And then that falls under their responsibility, making sure they're locked up and whatnot, clean when they leave. But they're used for all the high school games and the youth softball on the weekends when they have tournaments and things. Like I said, the last few years, they've been a little deplorable, so we've moved to Porta Johns. But we found that Porta Johns don't
gross
work
too.
too well up there.
yeah, they're gross too. You'd like to do better than that.
Yeah, they just don't work that well up there either because, honestly, you're around two different schools. I mean, not so much the younger kids, but the middle school kids are going in there and doing things that middle school kids shouldn't be doing, so. We've had to remove them in the past because they've done damage to them, and then that becomes an added expense, so.
I get it. So the other public bathroom we have like that would be down by the pool, right? The new one we just put in.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's open obviously for the pool side. Is it open other times of the year, or is it really just open for the pool use?
Right, so we haven't opened it to the other side. That was the initial plan.
Okay.
With the design inside, the showers are going to need to be blocked off. So whether we put a piece of insulation or a temporary plywood up, so the way the bathrooms are now when you access, we didn't want people that are coming in from Pop Warner on the field to have access to the showers.
Got it.
So we would have to just block those off. That wasn't part of the initial plan. It was sort of an afterthought, but
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like other. So I mean, having public bathrooms at a park is fantastic, right? You got to go there with kids. I mean, love the idea. But I'm also trying to figure out like, well, how often are they open and how often do they get used? Because it's not lost on me to have a bathroom open. That also means somebody's got to clean it regularly, and like there's like a lot that goes with this. You don't just leave it and forget about it, right?
Right.
So it sounds like these things are open for sort of special events. It's sort of what it.
yeah, so the band concerts every Tuesday, 7 weeks,
Yeah, they're
8
nice,
weeks. We have it for that, where we do have a worker that is there. For the after-school games, we don't have a worker present, but the school, it's sort of an agreement with the school that they let us know if something went wrong, if something broke, if something needs, cleaning. But for the most part, we don't have those issues because they're sort of monitoring it, but then we just clean them the next day, and they're ready for the next, the next set of games. Would we like to have them open regularly and used? We could do that with the locking system. So with the pool, we have a locking system that allows the bathrooms to be unlocked without access to the pool. that they could be used on the outside, but they would have an automatic lock, so 7:30 at night, they would lock. If you're inside, you can get out, but if you're outside, you can't get in. So you're not going to get locked in there, and that's something that we had as part of the plan, we just haven't implemented it yet. So that would be an option to look at, but with everything else, there's an added cost to that. I don't believe that's in this initial plan because we were pulling things out to try to make it, more attractive, I guess.
What Johns did you have to service
At
the town park?
Town Park, we had one.
And that was enough?
Well, that was what we put there for whatever sports. If there's a tournament, we'll get 3. If there's bigger, if there's one game, we would have 1, but we may add it for weekends. Yeah.
Can't get over $750,000.
Right, I think we had, I mean.
Neither can we, but
Yeah.
that's,
I wasn't part,
unfortunately, that's where we are.
I mean, we sort of ran into that at the
Bathrooms. Men's, women's, and family.
family, and an added storage in the back.
Okay, so it's not a renovation, it's a renovation and expansion.
One part of it's an expansion.
Did we get pricing for the building with just 2 bathrooms?
That was the prefab.
Well, no, I mean, if you're making it, they can make a building with 2 as easy as they can make it with 3.
Right.
And you mean like without the extra storage?
No, that's second.
Got it, okay.
Because last fall, we were told we needed the 3 for ADA.
Yep.
If,
I don't know where you got that, but
Okay.
I don't know where, I don't remember speaking of the ADA. I know we have ADA, it has to be accessible. But, yeah, it has to be the accessibility, but I don't remember saying
I'm
that.
just trying to,
Not sure.
let's forget about what was said. Going forward, do we, by requirement, do you need 1, 2, or 3 bathrooms?
At Town Park?
Yes.
I'm gonna think it may be more. It may be more than that. It's not as far as bathrooms, as far as urinals and toilets. But because we're doing a renovation, it's similar to at the high school. Because we're doing a renovation, it's not, I use grandfathered in, but it's not, it could be grandfathered in for the state law. Otherwise, by right, by law, you're supposed to have X amount of toilets per what that park can seat. So for the ball field, they ran into the same thing for the high school. It got grandfathered. They kept the old bathrooms open for some time, so the new concession
That
didn't.
we needed 11 or 19.
Right, and by law, it states that. Like for Pheno Field, you need 20 urinals. We're not going to put in 20 urinals at Pheno Field. But if we were to do upgrades at the bathroom, you're grandfathered from that. And that's from what I understand with how the state law works.
I just want to understand, because there's too
Yeah.
much speculation going on,
Right.
and a $2 million project is now feeling like.
But I think part of the concern, not to interrupt you, but part of the concern, last time we came in, members of the committee felt that we weren't prepared for moving forward. And what I tried to explain in the simplest way is it went out to bid. In order to go out to bid, you have to be document ready. So we went out to bid. What we went out to bid with was the final project, like from start to finish. And that's what we got the prices on. So moving forward, we're in that same boat now, where we have all the plans done, which we already paid for. Part of this other project, it was all together. We had to pay to get those documents done in order to go out for bid. So in order to move forward, the plans will need to be adjusted, whether we take this out, take that out, whatever is decided, which we've already taken some out, that has to be adjusted for an added cost to the architect for doing that, whatever it may be. I would estimate anywhere between $8,000 and $15,000 additional to just do that. Once we do that, we're prepared to go to bid, whether we go to bid in April or we go to bid in May. One way you're doing the appropriation, pending appropriation. The other you're doing, we have we have the money, we're going. Then if the numbers don't match up, it's
So-
another.
The other piece I'm hearing is an expansion. What is the expansion entail?
For the backside, it's,
Backside, front side,
yeah, I don't have the exact, I have to look through the plan for the measurements. It's, I want to say it's 10 or 20 feet long, 10 feet wide. It goes straight back off the underneath shed that's there underneath the building.
For additional storage.
Additional storage, so that's used for youth sports. Right now, the youth sports softball store all their stuff upstairs in between the bathrooms. There's a space
how much is that
inside.
adding to the project?
Oh, I'm not sure, like number-wise. We didn't have it broken down by, because it was for the whole project.
For the whole building.
I mean, that's probably the least of everything else, I would think, but
Yeah, but we should know, Joe, is this a $100,000 addition? Is it 50 grand addition?
I mean, I think we can probably figure that out somehow, but it was the whole building, the scope of the building, the bathrooms, the addition, the renovation was X amount of money.
Right.
right, but that's how it
The
gets
question
bid.
is, if we didn't,
That's how it gets bid.
if we didn't do the storage, would it save us 50, 100 grand? I'm not saying I'm against it.
I understand.
I just want to know, what am I buying? It's like if we had a building with 2 bathrooms instead of 3. Now, again, you may bring up a point that we're supposed to have more. If by law we have to, then we got to deal with it. I'm just concerned as the money keeps ticking up. You know, a $2 million project now feels like 3 point something, which means we've got to knock off other projects on the capital list if we're going to fund it.
That's it. The finance side is you guys and Zach. And Zach, you know, you can talk to Zach about that. So the other part, I'll continue with, just moving on. The other part was committee members were requesting clerk of the works. So the clerk of the works is an added $25,000 to $35,000.
Yep.
Okay, so that's another added cost. That would be incorporated in that funding.
Well, I think
You know,
that's
so
critical.
you're right, but what I'm saying is if you're taking 50,000 from this and 50,000 from that, it's coming from somewhere else anyway.
But Jimmy,
Yeah.
project number 1, we went 166,000 over. Project number 2, it looks like we're going to go $1 million over.
But we're not overexpended. So you keep saying we're over, you're making it sound like it was spent. It hasn't been spent, we don't have the money to spend it. We've spent what was allotted for
We
that.
decide not to do the what do you want to call it? The shed?
No, bathrooms.
Bathroom house.
Call it what it is.
If we decide we're not going to do it,
Well, the commissioners would make the decision if, again, they're moving forward with it.
with all due respect, our meeting will make the decision,
Exactly, so
okay?
I believe the commissioners are in the
When I say we
position where,
overspent, if we're going forward with these extras that were part of the original bid, one way or another, it feels like you're asking for $3 million plus to come out of our pocket, where we sold town meeting on $2 million. So that's what I mean by overspent, because my
right,
understanding
but you
was
understand where I'm saying it could get
we haven't
misconstrued.
overspent it yet, but we've got a plan for the money.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. So we haven't overspent, but we've spent all the money allocated, or allocated all them, and haven't
Under
completed the
ask,
project.
Right, we're coming
How
back
about
from
that?
more.
We've only done one of the 3
One way or
phases.
another,
But I like that better than overspent,
Yep.
I
personally.
understand your point.
I just don't, I don't like that, how that comes out, like, because we haven't overspent. We were allotted an X amount of dollars, we're within budget of that X amount that we allotted.
Well,
Whether,
the asterisk is that we didn't deliver what we said we were going to deliver.
correct.
Right, so that's hard too.
Let's call the ball, we haven't
Understood.
spent it yet, but we may have to. And that's why I'm asking, according to the grant, do we have to do all these things?
Yes.
Then we're in trouble.
So, and it has to be done by June of 2026.
So we have to do all 4 things by June of 2026.
No.
Okay.
Bathroom, bandstand. It's the only additional things that
Pearl Street
need.
wasn't on it?
Pearl Street wasn't part of that. It was an added.
So Pearl Street's totally
Right.
separate?
And that's why the commissioners had decided to pull that out completely, so there wasn't any confusion between the two.
Yeah, but it's on your capital plan.
Right.
Well,
But it's a separate project,
So it's still coming out of the same budget.
which we've already paid for the documents. It's already gone out to bid. So we're in the same boat there where it's ready to go out to bid again when needed. So,
we have a $3 million building on our capital plan, too, that we've had there for years, and we've always pushed that out. But that's because you always tell us to put things, our wish list, right? Is
Yeah.
5 years, so we put that on there. Because you've always told us to put that on there.
The clerk of the works thing to me is critical. Because
yeah, well, that's it. So I have,
We're in agreement.
I have all, I can go through it for you. It's not complete, but it would be basically a job description. We would contact, because this is exempt under the state law, so it doesn't have to go out to bid. But even though it's over, over 10,000, it doesn't have to go out to bid because it's exempt. So I could basically know of 2 or 3 that have been used in the town before, or, have reached out about it, and I can present this with this, and then it would go through an interview process through the commissioners, and then depending on qualifications, it would be from that 25,000 to 35
So we haven't gone out to bid for this yet,
for,
the bathhouse.
we have. It's gone out to bid and came
time.
back the first
Yeah,
time.
The first time.
On the first round, they went for all 3 phases at once.
Okay, but we're not in the first round now.
Right, so the second round, it's ready to go out to bid. Most likely, in speaking to the architect, the best route, with the commissioners going for the money in May, the best route would be to put it out and bid in April with that stipulation of
If allocated.
if appropriated, to move forward. That way, it's not pushing it back even further. So then by the time the money, we go to town meeting in May, if the money is approved, then we can move forward on it right away. That would get the project done. Written here. Estimated fall of 2025.
Yeah.
So that would give us plenty of time before the June 2026
The
deadline.
sensitivity you're feeling is, I'm very, very worried about the budget, because in a couple years, that high school's coming online. And that high school has the potential of making us ask people for $1,500 to $2,000 extra a year. The levy, the excess levy of 6 million, if we start eating it up on projects,
Yeah,
don't know where
that's a
we
tax increase. I mean, it doesn't look like it to a lot of people on a schedule like this, but it's just a tax increase.
yes. So that's my biggest concern, is when I start seeing things creep up. And we can sugarcoat it and say we under-asked, or either way, looks like you're asking for $3 million out of our pocket, not 2. And candidly, right now, I don't have enough answers to say, if it was a 2-bathroom building, what would it cost without storage? Now, if the storage is 20 grand, 30 grand, it may be a no-brainer. But I think,
I'm going to say, not to interrupt, but I'm going to say it's going to be minimal, because the building's going to be the same size. So regardless, the building's going to be the same size. The building's not getting smaller. We're building on the existing building. Okay, so that brick will be covered up with siding, so it won't be, if we go to the next step and say, oh, we don't want siding, we just got to clean up the brick, then.
so the
that's what we
foundation
wanna
is the
do.
same.
Foundation's the same. Because all the plumbing and everything's there, the water, I mean, that's a huge savings, or it would have been more. You're going to do a whole new building, you got to run the plumbing and everything, that's going to be even more, but it's all there. And it's still that. I don't know if there's anything else I could share. I mean, like I said, I do have the full plan. There's probably, I don't know how much everyone would understand it. That's why I tried to keep it as simple as possible with that, just to give you some wordage with, as far as what's you're getting for the money, I guess, as far as the total table of contents.
Now, the 750 includes the expansion to the bandstand, or no?
No,
So that's additional money.
it's all part of the same, the two are the same. So we would bid them together, as we did the first time.
But it's not, you're not expecting to get both for 750.
No, so the both came in before was
Is that the
8,
1.3 or?
no, it was 840 was the building, which the commissioners and also the architect felt was too high. And that's why we decided to rebid it. And the bandstand came in at 140, I believe.
And that's to just re-roof it?
Expand the roof, expand the stage with the bricks.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'd be added lighting. It's listed there, shingles, whatever is included in the roof. It's in the backside of that packet I gave you that has
So
the
that would be a
pictures.
separate project, though. I think you've said it a couple of times. It has been helpful that you're trying to keep these as separate projects. So what that means is there would be this 750 and then another 140 or some updated number.
Within. Total
Right.
is most likely $1 million. And that, again, you can speak to Zach on that side.
Again, Portuguese math fails me sometimes. 750 and
840, the original. We haven't gone out to bid again, so
okay.
it could come in at 750, it could
Okay.
come in at 800. We took out, I want to say the electrical was 56,000 in a change order. So that came out of that original, so that would bring it to 790 if you're taking the electrical out of it from the old bid. But that's taking out the electrical, to hook up the electrical.
but that's covered under the original.
That's already been done.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So, could it come back in at 8? Could it come back in at 850? We don't know until we put out the bid. And that's why it's, helpful to do it prior to. We have a better understanding as the number. Because just like the overall capital plan, and like I've explained in the past, we want a truck in October. I get a price now, it's good for 30 days. I got to go back every month basically and get a price. Is it going to go up terribly? No. For a truck, you might see a $5,000, $6,000 increase, but come October, that's why we might have a closer price in March, for things like that. Same with mowers. Mowers tend to, in July, everything goes up, it seems. And it might be because the municipalities start their new budget. I don't know why companies do that, but it just seems like what I've recognized when you go for pricing for different things, whether it be weed whackers, mowers, and things, it seems in July is when everything gets bumped.
Well, we can't talk about any motions or anything tonight, but I think we have to go back and read this. And then you mentioned Zach put money aside. News to me.
I think everyone was aware of that.
No, that he put the general money aside he puts for Maytown meeting. But
I don't know, you have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, I didn't know he put $1 million aside.
Maybe I'm misinterpreting it. You can ask what he did.
Yeah, we can follow up with Zach. I think when I listen to this, I think about the project, and for anybody watching, anybody who's walking into this conversation, it's jarring to hear how much like a reno of a bathroom costs. It doesn't smell right. Like 140 for like the bandstand, you go like, oh, I can kind of see a path to that, So like sometimes you can understand a project and sometimes you can't, and I accept that I'm not going to be a professional estimator. So like you go, okay, well that's confusing. The other thing that I struggle with, I guess I should also finish and say I really like parks. I want our parks to all look like the new pool at Pheno. I mean, I think I place a lot of personal importance on parks and would like to have a really nice, like Town Park to look better, and I think you're going in the right general direction. The thing that I get stopped on a little bit with this one, after I get over the I don't know how to estimate the price, I'm going to guess that bathroom's open 30 days a year. Am I like wildly wrong about that? I mean, there's those 10 nights in the summer, which are great events. There's probably like the Celebrate Milford Day, another event. You probably have a handful of, what do you probably figure, 10 home games for the high school softball team, baseball team maybe. You know, I'm just doing like this math, and I'm thinking like, well, how many full days is it open? And I bet it's not a huge number. And that's where I kind of pause on that a little bit. And it's not to say that we shouldn't have a bathroom, but I'm saying like, well, the other days of the year, there's a lot of residents who go to the park to play basketball, to go use the new things that we're building, and I'm thinking they're going to be staring at locked doors there. And, you know, and you're saying like, well, we are paying a lot of money, and there's going to be people peeing in the bushes because the door's locked.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, that's
And maybe starting out that, and I get the perception, I do, and the rationalization, without a doubt, because I struggled with that myself. But like Jimmy had talked about with the pool, and you have Pop One or what have you down at the annex, that hopefully there could be, moving forward, that locking system, which will afford the ability to have those open and accessible a lot more than the, say, the 30 days that.
I'm making it up.
No, but I understand, but we got to use a number, right? So to put, have it open lot more than the 30 days. You know, you have, in the summertime, you have the basketball leagues down there, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's another, 2 or 3 months of 2 or 3 nights a week that people are down there. Kids, adults, coaches, someone runs that league, so you could probably put somebody that's in charge of that league in charge of the bathrooms, just like a high school coach, So now all of a sudden that 30 days could, blow up to 100 days, or almost have it open almost every night of the summer. But we have to try to figure that out.
And we have to work to that. And that, even with the bathrooms down at the pool, it's a great thought with that automatic lock, and that's why we got it. Because this was sort of like a testing ground. Hey, let's see if we can do this, okay, without going in and, finding someone passed out on the floor, or going in and having someone sleeping in there, things like this. But the big part is, you don't know what the kids are doing in there either. So all of a sudden, we open it up, we have a good week, and then we have a bad week. And that's going to happen with things, where you're going to have some things happen, you're going to have vandalism, whatever it may be. But we felt that was going to be a good testing ground. Now, where it's not in this plan, moving forward, we find out, we're getting multiple calls because there's people up there, urinating outside. As we have in parks before, and we've added porta-johns, we've had that happen in a few of our parks in town where we've had to add porta-johns because this was happening. So then, then we look at saying, all right, well, maybe we should price this out and see what the locking mechanism it would cost separately. Now, it's not going to be the jacked up price that you see within a bid. It's going to be from a normal locksmith that's going to come in and do it, and that's something that can be paid for through our operation budget, which we can do
The
that.
biggest concern is, you remember when we did Woodland, and they had to close the bathrooms in Woodland
Right.
because of the things that happened.
And in a perfect world, we would like to have those open as much as they could be. But, what it would come down to is, how are they going to be treated? I would like to hope that because of the improvements that are being made at that park, kids, adults, the whole community is going to respect that much, where maybe you're not going to see as much vandalism. But we're also looking to get the park cambered, working with IT to have that cambered. So
I think that's important. I also think that, if you're going to spend the money, the truth is we should expect to have some more operating expenses around maybe police details going by regular. Maybe you need somebody cleaning on a regular basis. I think about it like the turf field at the high school. we can lock it up and now let anybody use it. But people are on there, as soon as the snow's gone, people are on there year round, and it's this great community resource, which means it wears out faster. Except everybody got to use it, and it's fantastic, So, if you're going to spend the money on something, you should use it and expect to have some costs that go with it. So we should be thinking about that together as we're going to go forward. But, you don't want to be in a situation where you spend the money, keep it locked, and put a porta-john in. Like if you look at that, if that becomes a long-term solution, I would look at it and go, I don't feel good about this one.
Well, and that's the other
You
thing,
just skip
too.
it and go to the porta-john.
So I've already tracked the history of the porta-johns, as I had talked before about the destruction of, porta-johns having to be taken out, clothes being put in there, graffiti inside them, whatever it may be. There's multiple things that you don't have to share all of them. But, moving forward, seeing everything improving is the main point. And, when I first was put in this position 6 years ago, at my interview, that was one of the first things I brought up to the commission was my goal, having been working for the department for 18 years, my goal is to get more people in these parks. And get the community to use these parks as they should be. Honestly, Town Park hasn't been used as much as I think it's about to get used in a long time. Going there on band concert night and seeing everyone coming out for a band concert, it's nice, and to see all those courts being used when you're driving by, that's going to be a nice thing. And that's sort of my vision looking forward, which I share with the commission. And, if we can accomplish that, and it means you're going to get a graffiti here, you have to fix this or fix that, it's all going to be a matter of maintaining to avoid what we're into now as far as moving
Phase
forward.
one part of Town Park, when will that be done?
June. Well, no, I'm sorry, May of this year. Yeah, May.
So it is still the spring.
Yes. So we're planning an event in June, unofficially but officially. By the third week in June, we're planning a grand opening event. And it has to work out some things with Blue Cross Blue Shield, who gave us some money for the exercise unit that's going in there, because they're going to come and do a whole ribbon cutting. And, obviously we'll have people from the state here and, town people, and it'll be a great event.
Well, we'll continue this. I don't know when we're getting together again. Is it March?
Usually it's March. I haven't received anything
Did you sign up for any of the nights?
tonight.
Okay, so we're going to have to schedule another night.
Yeah.
Because we do have to talk to Zach and find out if he's got money squirreled away.
Would that be, so who's the chair? Is it Bob now? Chairperson for the parks?
I can't remember.
He had reached out and was asking for some things.
Bob DeVita?
Yeah.
It's Bobby.
So is that who I received something from, or will it be from you or
I
Andy?
sent out in December, January,
Yeah.
each month, saying, sign up to talk about your.
Oh, so that's the same for this, is that? Okay, so I signed up for this night, for this.
We're gonna have to get
Now we're going to have to do
another
another October, for October.
Because we need to talk to Zach
Yep.
about what funding, because what I don't want to do is commit to money that all of a sudden come fall, we have no money left, for capital, because we have 1.7 total. And this extra money here isn't part of the 1.7 because we already spent that. Because it was total 2 million, now we're talking 3. We got to come up with $1 million somewhere.
I have 3 more sets of those
Okay,
if you want
great.
to share with them. Vinny might want one.
Thank you.
All
So
right.
I'll get back to you by, say, Friday. But it sounds like we're going to have to just schedule a separate night
Yep.
to go through this, maybe March, middle of March or so. And that would be just to go over your capital for the year. So I see the items here.
Yep, so that's updated. So we just, unfortunately, I would have got it to you sooner. We just had our meeting last night.
No, it's fine.
And we had a few other things that arose during that meeting, so I was sort of dealing with that
Things
today.
like the skate park and the Pearl Street,
Yep.
that has to be taken into consideration with everything else, because that would be part of the 1.7 million. And first I saw it was just now. So I can tell you, I don't have that factored in. Not to say it can't be,
No.
but it gets tighter and tighter as we go forward. Thank you.
Yeah,
Understood.
thanks for coming in. I know there's a lot of moving parts to these.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I hope it was more understandable.
Any questions?
And one of you, when these proposals come in, do we have anybody that is familiar with proposals that evaluates whether the labor rates are in accordance with the state labor law? The material, what type of material is being used?
Yeah, that's a good question. We'll have to ask. That,
Because then we can see if the G&A, general administrative costs are too high. Are they ones that pertain to this
Yeah.
job only?
no, that's
Not
legit.
everything?
We'll have to ask because
Profit margin?
we're asking and we're including in sort of the works. But you're talking about a compliance position, which
Yeah.
is a good thing to have also.
Yeah, you'd have to know what, if we put out a specific type of material to be used, we gotta make sure that it's being used. Are they using something else that costs more or less?
Yep.
And how much are they charging for profit? We
Not
can
yet.
Negotiate that.
Has not yet.
Any other questions before we take a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Motion to adjourn is not debatable. All in favor? Sold. We'll take it up as soon as I have a moment, probably not till Friday. I'll send out an invitation so we pick another night. Can't be the second Wednesday because that's already taken by other departments. Is there any other night that works best for you guys?
I might not be available.
Oh, that's right.
I probably won't be for a couple of weeks anyways. After the 5th.
After the 5th of March.
Yeah.
So it'd be towards the end of March. I'll try and look at like the 4th week.
Yeah, that probably would work.
Any day specifically better? Brant,
Top of mind, I don't know, but
take a look and let me know.
suggest some dates. My lacrosse coaching calendar's starting to populate.
Well, that's
so,
what I was thinking
yeah.
of lacrosse.
Yeah.
Okay. So this meeting is now adjourned.
Was this a subcommittee?
This